Why was the Spanish Armada defeated? In 1588, one of the most significant military events in European history, it marked the decline of Spanish naval dominance and the rise of England as a formidable maritime power. But why was the Spanish Armada, which was considered the most powerful fleet in the world at the time, defeated by a smaller and seemingly less capable English force? The answer lies in a combination of strategic miscalculations, leadership errors, tactical ingenuity, environmental factors, and the sheer unpredictability of warfare. To fully understand why the Spanish Armada was defeated, we must first delve into the geopolitical context of the late 16th century. The rivalry between Spain and England was rooted in religious, economic, and political tensions. Spain, under King Philip II, was the most powerful Catholic nation in Europe, while England, led by Queen Elizabeth I, was a Protestant country that had broken away from the Catholic Church under her father, Henry VIII. The Protestant Reformation had created deep divisions across Europe, and Philip II saw himself as the defender of the Catholic faith against Protestant heresy. Philip's desire to overthrow Elizabeth and restore Catholicism in England was further fueled by English support for the Dutch revolt against Spanish rule in the Low Countries. English privateers, most notably Sir Francis Drake, had also been attacking Spanish treasure ships returning from the New World, which was a severe economic blow to Spain. In response, Philip conceived the idea of launching a grand naval expedition, known as the Enterprise of England, to invade England, depose Elizabeth, and install a Catholic monarch on the English throne. The Spanish Armada, assembled to carry out this mission, was a formidable fleet. It consisted of about 130 ships, including galleons, galleasses, and support vessels, and carried around 30,000 men, including sailors, soldiers, and noblemen. The plan was for the Armada to sail to the Netherlands, pick up additional troops from the Spanish-controlled region, and then cross the English Channel to land on the coast of England. Once on English soil, they would march on London, expecting to gain support from English Catholics and bring down Elizabeth's government. Despite its size and strength, the Armada faced numerous challenges from the outset. One of the most critical issues was the leadership of the fleet. The Duke of Medina Sidonia, who was appointed to command the Armada, was an inexperienced naval commander. Medina Sidonia was a nobleman with a high rank, but he had little knowledge of naval warfare and was not suited for the task. He accepted the position reluctantly after the original commander, the more experienced Marquis of Santa Cruz, died shortly before the expedition was set to sail. This leadership vacuum at the top proved to be one of the fatal flaws in the Spanish strategy. Moreover, the Spanish Armada was plagued by logistical problems. The fleet was delayed for several months before it could set sail due to bad weather and difficulties in provisioning. This delay not only sapped the morale of the crews, but also gave the English more time to prepare for the coming invasion. Additionally, many of the ships were not properly equipped for a long voyage, with insufficient supplies of food, water, and ammunition. The lack of coordination between the Armada and the Duke of Parma's forces in the Netherlands also became a critical weakness. The two forces were supposed to meet and combine, but the timing and logistics of this rendezvous were poorly planned, leading to confusion and delay. As the Armada sailed up the English Channel, it was met by the English fleet under the command of Lord Charles Howard and Sir Francis Drake. The English fleet was smaller, with around 100 ships, but it had several key advantages. First, the English ships were faster and more maneuverable than the larger Spanish galleons. English naval tactics also differed significantly from those of the Spanish. While the Spanish relied on boarding enemy ships to capture them, the English used long-range cannons to bombard the Spanish ships from a distance, avoiding close combat. This tactic allowed the English to inflict damage on the Spanish fleet without risking their own vessels. The English also employed fire ships, vessels set ablaze and sent into the midst of the tightly packed Spanish formation. The fire ships caused panic among the Spanish crews, who were forced to break formation to avoid the burning ships. This disruption of the Spanish formation was a turning point in the battle. The Spanish fleet, already struggling with poor leadership and coordination, was now scattered and vulnerable to further attacks by the English. Weather played a crucial role in the outcome of the campaign. The English Channel is known for its unpredictable weather, and the Spanish Armada encountered several severe storms during its voyage. After the battle in the Channel, the remnants of the Spanish fleet were forced to sail around the northern coast of Scotland and Ireland to return to Spain. Many ships were lost to the storms, and thousands of men perished. The storms were so severe that they were later referred to as the Protestant Wind, seen by many in England as a sign of divine intervention on behalf of the Protestant cause. Another significant factor in the defeat of the Spanish Armada was the resilience and resolve of the English people. The threat of invasion galvanized the English populace, and there was a strong sense of national unity in the face of the Spanish threat. Queen Elizabeth's famous speech to her troops at Tilbury, where she declared, "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too," exemplified the determination of the English to defend their country entry, the English navy was well supported, and the coastal defenses were reinforced in anticipation of the Spanish landing. In contrast, the Spanish campaign suffered from a lack of popular support and a misreading of the political situation in England. Philip II believed that English Catholics would rise up in support of the Spanish invasion, but this did not materialize. English Catholics, while they may have had grievances with Elizabeth's Protestant government, were not inclined to support a foreign invasion of their homeland. The lack of an internal uprising further doomed the Spanish enterprise. The defeat of the Spanish Armada had far-reaching consequences. For Spain, it marked the beginning of the decline of its naval and imperial power. The financial cost of the failed expedition was enormous, and Spain would struggle to maintain its dominance in Europe and the Americas in the following decade. The defeat also emboldened Spain's enemies, particularly the Dutch and the English, who continued to challenge Spanish hegemony on the seas. For England, the victory over the Armada was a defining moment. It secured Elizabeth's rule and solidified England's position as a rising naval power. The success of the English Navy laid the foundation for England's future as a global maritime empire. The defeat of the Armada was also a propaganda triumph, celebrated in art, literature, and popular culture as a David and Goliath struggle in which England triumphed against overwhelming odds. Many Spanish sailors were inexperienced and had never fought in a battle before. This lack of training and experience led to confusion and poor decision-making. The English had a significant advantage in terms of naval technology with faster and more maneuverable ships. This allowed them to outmaneuver and outgun the Spanish. The Spanish galleons were designed for oceanic voyages, not for battle. They were slow, cumbersome, and vulnerable to attack from smaller, faster English ships. The English used fire ships to attack the Spanish Armada, causing chaos and destruction. The Spanish were unable to effectively respond, as their ships were too slow and cumbersome. The Spanish Armada was severely undersupplied, with inadequate food, water, and ammunition. This weakened the Spanish ships and crew, making them more susceptible to attack. The legacy of the Spanish Armada's defeat continues to be remembered as a turning point in European history. It was a battle not only of ships and sailors, but of strategy, leadership, and national resolve. The combination of Spanish miscalculations, English tactical innovations, and the capricious forces of nature resulted in a stunning and unexpected outcome. The defeat of the Spanish Armada is a reminder of the complexity of warfare and the myriad factors that can influence the outcome of a military campaign. In the end, the Spanish Armada's defeat was not the result of a single cause, but a confluence of errors, strategic misjudgments, and unforeseen events. The ambition and might of Spain were no match for the tactical ingenuity of the English, the resilience of the weather, and the determination of a nation united in defense of its sovereignty. The story of the Spanish Armada is a lesson in the unpredictability of history and the ways in which even the most powerful empires can falter when faced with the challenges of war. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.